When something triggers you, you get annoyed. And then when you catch yourself that you're annoyed, and then you don't allow yourself to express it in behavior, which is good because it could have negative consequences which you don't want. But on the other hand, you are right. You are left with this uncomfortable feeling, of something that has happened inside you that has caused a disturbance. But here, I think the compassion practice is helpful because, you don't then beat yourself. I mean, this is one thing where, in the West, people are not very good. People are, this is probably, I don't know whether it has to do with religious heritage, but, if you compare Christian society versus non-Christian society, Christian societies generally tend to be very compassionate. And it's not surprising because if you look at New Testament, the New Testament's conception of God is almost like shining a spotlight on the compassionate nature of God. And that idea of God as compassionate and love really kind of permeates the entire culture. So in the West, it's no coincidence. There is tremendous emphasis on service, helping the poor, helping the needy. It's not a coincidence that these are so powerful practices in the West. And also, if you compare, America versus European society, one of the reasons why, ordinary Americans tend to be much more philanthropic and generous in their charitable giving compared to Europe and Canada is because America is the most religious country in the Western Hemisphere. So, but at the same time, in the West in general, and particularly in America, people are not very good at being compassionate towards themselves. Self-compassion is a big problem. And people immediately judge themselves, are harsh on themselves, and then the guilt kicks in. And this is where, again, the mind training type practice is helpful because you catch yourself before you start going that path. So ideally, you would want to hold, what you are feeling and just stay with it. I heard someone describe mindfulness practice to a total stranger as it's like, holding a baby. You keep holding the baby whether the baby is laughing and giggling or happy, or the baby is being so annoying and crying. And you still keep holding the baby. You don't drop the baby, And I think that's a beautiful imagery, actually. I mean, so I think the mindfulness and the compassionate practice, if you can bring it, not only you stop from your emotional reactivity leading to a negative behavior, but also it allows you to stay with that negative experience and don't judge yourself so that you don't perpetuate another cycle. You may not harm others, but then you start harming yourself,
Lo